What's up, guys? Eli here, back for a CD collection video. Just picking up where we left off last time, whenever the fuck that was. So I got 10 CDs here. We'll get through them. Got the day off today. It's Friday. I'm just sitting around watching some DVDs, as you can see up here. This is one I actually had not seen, and I've had it for quite a while. I've had it for at least a couple years. And I've probably showed it in some sort of like a collection update or something at some point, but I don't know if anyone's ever seen this. It's pretty cool. Having a breakfast, healthy breakfast at that, of Rockstar Samurai Cola. It's good stuff. And let's start, shall we? Starting off with an absolute, Sean Connery now. Absolute Norwegian black metal classic from 95, I believe. Pretty sure it was 95. We have Floreti with their classic debut. Obviously, this is a Candlelight reissue. This is not the original, which came out on Aesthetic Death. This is a cool version, though. I mean, in addition to having the album on here, it's got the Blackened compilation contribution. And it's got the Darker Shade of Evil EP. So worth getting, you know. Doesn't have that cool, like, iconic cover art that the debut, or, you know, the OG has. But for all the bonuses and stuff, very much worth getting. Even if you already have the original and you don't have the that debut EP. Like me. Yeah, these guys, they're still around kicking. They're not, you know, they're not playing the old style, you know, kind of crazy black metal that they played in 95. Now they're just kind of playing, I don't know, what would you call, I don't follow them that closely. They just kind of play like a weird avant-garde metal, sometimes black metal sounding, I don't know, kind of like in the weirdness that Maiden's did. Maybe not that weird. Pretty close though. Anyways. Oh wow. All right. This one right here is one of my all-time favorite thrash albums, just hands down. 1987. I thought it came out in 88. I guess I've been wrong for a while. 1987, Metal Blade Records and Restless Records out of California. Debut album from Flotsam and Jetsam. Doomsday for the receiver. Doomsday for the deceiver. Oh man. Some people call this speed metal. Some people call this power metal. Some people call it thrash. It's kind of all three, really. But oh yeah, excellent thrash album out of the Arizona, I think they were from. You know, the amazing charismatic vocals from Eric A.K. honestly, in my opinion, are what makes this album really special. But that's not to discount the rest of the band. You know, it's speedy. It's you know, it's early thrash metal sounding. I mean, this album is just perfect. Jason Newsted on bass before he joined Metallica. Like I said, I don't want to discount the rest of the band, but Eric A.K.'s vocals just take this to another level. Had they had a different singer, I don't think this would have been as... There's no way it could have been as good as it is. Now, I've only had that version maybe for a couple years. That is an OG pressing. I have this version that I've had for quite a while. I bought this at a pawn shop probably 15 years ago. This is the 20th anniversary special edition Metal Blade Records. They've done releases like this for numerous albums. Fate's Warning, a bunch of others. So it comes in like this cardboard slipcase with two discs. You've got the album. The album itself, kind of touched up artwork. It's pretty much the same. Yeah, it's the same as the original, just the original's so dark. And this one, yeah, it's clearly looks better, you know? Same artwork, same exact artwork. They just lightened it a little bit. So this has got the original album as well. It's got the Iron Tears demo. And then it's got a second disc with remixed and a remastered album. I don't know if I've ever listened to that. I'm not interested in that. And it's got some bonus tracks from 1985's Metal Shock. it is a cool set, you know, with the 2 discs and everything. Definitely, I definitely would recommend getting this. You know, maybe you don't have those. Fuck, I didn't have their demo, their 1985 or whatever, 1980. Yeah, whatever demo. I didn't have that. And it's got a bonus DVD that, if you know me, you know I've never watched this because I just do that. I don't know why. Very cool though. Bonus DVD. What does it have on it? I don't know. Oh man, apparently I've misplaced the bonus DVD. It's not in there. I pretty sure I have it somewhere. Maybe I had at one point meant to watch it. Anyways, it's got the early years interview, part 1, 1983 through 84. Iron Tears live at Palace West in 84. Interview part 2, same year. Hammerhead live at Jason's apartment in 85. Okay. She Took an Axe live at the Pony Express in 85. Then it's got live at Bootleggers 1985. Looks like an entire set. So, very cool. Fuck me for not watching it. Good on me for maybe trying to watch it at one point and losing the disc. Yeah, we'll figure that out. So, this might be a controversial opinion from what I've gathered over the years. So this is their second album, 1988, No Place for Disgrace, on Elektra Records. So they made a huge jump, from Metal Blade and Restless right into Elektra, Metallica's label, many other famous artists, label. A lot of people consider this their best album. I want to say, just from what I've gathered over the years, I would say almost 50% of fans would consider this their best album, better than the debut. I completely disagree. This is a very good album. I don't think it's, for me, I don't know, maybe it's just because I had this one first. I bonded with it for so long, a long time before I got this one. It never stacked up for me. It's very, like I said, it's very good. I want to say this is more of like a Bay Area thrash sound, as opposed to kind of the almost amateurish, kind of, I don't want to say sloppy, but less technical speed metal of this album. I just never considered it as good. I don't think Eric's like his vocals, like his vocal lines and stuff, maybe not as catchy, not as memorable. I don't know. That's just how I've always viewed this. So very good. Just to me, not as good. I'm starting to trip up on my words because my brain is just running like, trying to understand. But yeah. Now, decades have passed in between those two albums. They didn't break up. No, they didn't break up. They stayed, from what I remember, they stayed fairly consistent, releasing an album every 5 years or something like that. Maybe not super consistent, but they have a number of albums in between these next two that I have. The next two that I have are like their more recent albums. So, starting with their self-titled album back in 2016. It's a digipack, but it's nice. It's got, this, I don't know, never mind. I thought this was like raised. No, but it's nice. If you look real close, they did a good job, the graphics and everything. There's the back. This album is pretty good. A lot of people were like, oh man, return to form and all that stuff. And I'm not going to bash on it. It's not an exact return to form. Also, I guess maybe I never really looked real close at the title, the track listing. They have a song called did they cover Iron Maiden? Like, the song Iron Maiden, I guess, is on here. I don't remember that. Jesus, what's wrong with me? I have listened to this, I promise. It's been a while, and, I probably only listened once or twice. Edit that part out, right? Anyways, apparently they cover the track Iron Maiden. Yeah, I probably clearly didn't spend a lot of time with this. Probably listened to it twice. I did like it. It's not a return to form exactly, but from what I understand, I have kind of sampled the shit that they did in between this and fuck, in between this and No Place for Disgrace. And there are some letdowns. There's some experimentation. I'm not saying all of it's bad or anything, but this is kind of a more return to to thrash metal. This isn't a pure thrash album, but yeah, I can see how there are some. It is a bit of a return to that thrash sound that they did early on. By the way, this came out on AFM Records. And this next one came out on the same label 2 years later, 2018. I actually like this album better. I actually quite liked this album. I really enjoyed this album in 2018. I'm pretty sure I did a best of video in 2018. I don't think this was on there, and I'm starting to think that maybe it should have been. We have The End of Chaos. Cool album cover, kind of a throwback to the first album with the, the Flotzilla monster. This album is still, it's along the same lines of the self-titled album, but it's way catchier. There are vocal hooks on here that could honestly, I don't know what Eric AK was doing, but I mean, there are vocal hooks on here that I don't know if I don't want to throw out any assumptions, but I mean, these could have been on like big time rock or metal records, like shit that you'd hear on the radio, but I mean that in a good way. The way I just described it, hearing on the radio, that sounds bad, but I mean it in a good way. I mean it in that, like, he clearly took a lot of time crafting these vocal lines and stuff like that, and they're so catchy. Holy shit. I'm especially like the first 3 songs. Definitely check this out. Like I said, it's still kind of that return to thrash metal of the self-titled, but I think Eric sounds so much better on this album. Not that he sounded bad, but it's like Eric is back on this album. Like, his vocals are just amazing, which is, like I said, such a big part of what I loved about this band early on. There's stuff that I've heard here and there in between that I felt like kind of some of his charisma was missing, and it's just back in full force on this album. I got to see them live even prior to either of these. I think probably at least 7 years ago, I saw them live, and they were really cool. Saw them just in like a little venue, and they were great. Oh, so yeah, that's clear. Obviously, that's all the Flotsam I have for now. Maybe someday I'll add to my collection. I don't know, what do you guys think? Am I missing any Flotsam and Jetsam that you think I should probably give a chance to? I have a friend who's a big Flotsam fan, and he says yes. He says there's, I think it's the album that predates the self-titled. He said I definitely need to get that. He loves it, but I don't know. I guess I'm unconvinced as of yet. And moving on to thrash of that same era. This is probably why I thought Doomsday for the Deceiver came out in '88, because this is one that I like equal to that album, and this one came out in '88, and I think that's what I always would confuse it with. This is Forbidden Evil from the mighty Forbidden Bay Area thrash metal. Can't remember if they were from the city of San Francisco or if they were from somewhere else. I grew up in the Bay Area myself. Unfortunately, a little later than these guys. This came out in '88. I was 6 in '88, so I wasn't hip to this stuff as it came out. Unfortunately, I very well could have been, and that would have been fucking badass. This, to me, is their crowning achievement. By far their best album. This is their masterpiece. Yeah, their second album is very good. It's very technical. It's awesome. But this one, again, I kind of liken this one to the debut Flotsam and Jetsam. Vocal hooks are everywhere. What's his name? Russ Anderson's vocals they're just soaring, majestic vocals, which is something that you don't get in thrash metal all the time. And this album just kind of has that youthful energy that you sometimes can only get on a debut, because on their follow up, they were fucking working hard. They were serious musicians. That album is just so technical, and it's extremely well written. But I like there are things that are missing from that album that I just prefer hearing on this one. So probably my favorite thrash metal album out of '88 for sure, and one of the best thrash metal albums of all time. Unfortunately, I was talking about that sophomore album, and I don't have it. I don't have anything up until the most recent album they've done, which is 2010. I kind of thought that they would that they were back and they would be more consistent, but they haven't been. It's over a decade's passed now, and you got Omega Wave, Nuclear Blast Records. This album's okay. It definitely has those trappings of, like, you know, a veteran thrash band trying to stay relevant. You know, just throwing maybe too many elements in there. I just want to hear thrash metal, and they're clearly still really good musicians, but there's just too many ingredients in the stew, and this is the problem I have with almost every fucking veteran thrash band that's still active. They try to put too much in there. They try to modernize it. And I just want to hear that old school thrash metal. Sorry, that's what I want to hear. That's what I like about these bands. That's what I like about these bands. I don't really want to hear them do anything else. And I'm sorry. I wish I could lower my standards or whatever, but I just can't do it. That said, I do think this is an alright album, but it's certainly not great. I wouldn't say skip it. Give it a chance. But, yeah. Here's another band that I wish I have more, or I had more stuff from. Unfortunately, I don't. This is the only thing I have. At least it's a very good album. 2015 on, what's this label called? Prophecy Productions? Something like that. Anyways, I had thought this was their most recent album. I can't say for sure, but this is the 2015 album from A Forest of Stars with Beware the Sword You Cannot See. Look at that artwork. Holy fuck. So this band is from England. They started probably well over 10 years ago. I've been following them since the beginning. Really, really loved their first album. I've heard most of what they've done since then. I don't think they ever did a bad album. There have been some points where I'm like, okay, I don't like this as much. And then when this came out, I remember thinking, like, not so much a return to form, but a return to extremely good quality. This is like psychedelic black metal, very unique. Yeah, that artwork though, god damn, it's so fucking cool. Very, very unique black metal. Like I said, definitely in the black metal vein, but so much more than just. I mean, this is not standard black metal. You know, these guys are adding psychedelic elements just all over the place. They've never been a standard black metal band. Even from their debut, they're always doing weird stuff. And as someone that doesn't always buy into that kind of thing, man, this band really makes it work. I can't really help but recommend pretty much their entire discography. Maybe, I don't know if you're like more of a black metal purist, maybe start with their first album, because that's definitely their most black metal sounding. And if you like that, just keep going. I think if you like that, I think you're going to like more. But, like I said, that debut and this album, I think they've actually done stuff since this in the last 6 years, and I haven't heard it, though, so I need to get on that. But, yeah, what a cool fucking band. Alright, we'll go out with a bang. This is the last one, but certainly not least. This might be my favorite of this entire stack. This is 94? I think this came out in 94. Norwegian black metal, Forgotten Woods, As the Wolves Gather. This is an original pressing on No Colors Records. Yeah, I mean, this is literally the original pressing. You know, there's a vinyl pressing they did, but they didn't even put that out until 95. So this is the original pressing of this album. Maybe the most underrated black metal band out of Norway. Maybe they weren't quite as... Maybe they were a little bit late to the game, but man, I don't think they were that late. This is their debut, but they had demos out before this. I've often kind of thought and even discussed with some people, like, why? I mean, yeah, this band has a cult following. They definitely have a fan base, but why are they? Why do they always seem to be kind of they don't. I feel like most people don't put them up there with Mayhem and Immortal and Emperor and stuff like that. I'm sure there's a reason that I haven't really looked into. I think maybe they might have lived in a different part of Norway. Kind of like with like the early Swedish death metal. Like most of those guys were in the same town, and then you had Grave, who were in like a really remote town. Might have even been considered a village. It was very far away. It was almost like an island. Still Sweden, but they weren't in the city. I think maybe that might have been the case with Forgotten Woods, because you never hear about these band members trudging around with with Isan or dudes from Dark Throne or whatever. It never comes up, and maybe I should research and look into that and not just make assumptions. But yeah, this album, one of the best Norwegian black metal albums of all time. This band would really go on to inspire the subgenre of like depressive black metal. Of course, Burzum's pretty much considered like the the godfather of that sound, but this band is as well. If right next to Burzum, I think this band really inspired that subgenre, almost hand in hand. So I do have a couple Forgotten Woods cassettes, but yeah, won't be showing them since this is a CD only video. But that's all I got for now. That's 10 CDs. It's been cold and stormy out, but I'm gonna go take Louie on a walk here real quick. He's been waiting. He's literally right behind the camera, just staring at me. I can feel the scorn. But yeah, hope you guys are all doing well. Cheers. We'll talk soon.